In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto.
Crypto fam, it's your boy CryptoKeeper, and as always, the Bitcoin Crusader, Miguel. How you doing, bro?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Good, man. Good. I'm just if you guys can't tell from my voice, I'm recovering. Right, had a little something going on, so I'm not gonna say it. But you guys can read between the lines, right? We've had a little something going on, yeah. So excited to be here. Excited to start feeling a little bit better, guys. If you are in the live chat, X out of the live chat, smash the like. That lets YouTube know that you love What If Wednesday, and tonight that's exactly what it is. What If Wednesday. So, Miguel, what is on the podium for this lovely What If Wednesday?
What if Elon Musk is Satoshi Nakamoto? Dude, the man has built rocket ships, has been putting chips into monkeys' brains, has tunnels running under cities, right? Runs Tesla, did PayPal. Can we doubt that the man is capable of creating a peer-to-peer electronic decentralized currency?
So before we get head over hands into this conversation, this is going to be a fun one, guys. If you are not subscribed, make sure that you do your thing, subscribe. And just as a reminder, we've actually got Crypto Face coming on tomorrow night, which we're super excited about. That's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow evening. The one and only Crypto Face. And just as a little friendly reminder, we just recently gave away $500, and we've got a new giveaway going on. We've got to get the little tag to add on there. If you sign up for Debate Crypto Academy, it's debatecrypto.academy. The links are below in the description. But if you are signed up for the academy and subscribe to our YouTube, we are giving away a full year of Market Cipher, which has like $1,000 or more attached to it. A full year, right? So super excited to give that away. We've gotten into trading a lot more recently, and we are navigating those waters. And I think that some of these indicators, from what I've heard from a lot of other people, Market Cipher is one of those indicators that does really well. So we're really excited to be giving a year of that away.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So
yeah, I'm super excited about it, man. I'm excited to get to know it a little bit better ourselves as we continue to swim the waters of a little bit of leverage trading and whatnot. I almost hit my stop loss earlier today because ETH, and actually let's start off with a market watch.
let's get into that.
Yeah, so ETH actually almost hit my my stop loss today or earlier, not long ago. Let's check this out. So, Coin Market Cap has ETH. I'm starting off with ETH because that's my girl. 30. Let me update this. Let me make sure this is right. Okay, 36.51. We're down another 4% today. I am just absolutely not loving what's been going on with the crypto markets in general. Let me upsize this here. Boom, here we go. All right, so the markets in general, we are Bitcoin at 46.3. We're down 3.23 on the weekly. We're down 4.67. ETH about almost 5%, almost 9% on the weekly. Binance Coin almost 5 and 5. Solana about 5 and 7. Cardano 7 and 2.5. Guys, it's just red everywhere, right? XRP is down almost 5% and then almost 16% on the weekly. Terra Luna, the one that's been refusing to stop. Guess what? Terra Luna decided to stop this week. 5.66% down today, 6.17 on the weekly. And to round out the top 10, we're going to go to 11 because I want to touch on number 11. Polkadot's down 7 and about 6 on the weekly. And Avalanche down almost 8% today and 18.29 on the weekly. Miguel, real quick before we jump into the What If Wednesday, what are you thinking about? What are you thinking about the markets, man? I'm interested.
I think we're in for a bumpy ride, right? I think this closing of the month is gonna get bumpy with the contracts expiring. So I think Bitcoin is on wobbly legs right now. And with that being said, when Bitcoin is feeling wobbly, the altcoins are definitely trembling. So
yeah,
be very careful. It's probably not the best time to be getting into altcoin positions. Definitely keep an eye on them if you guys are looking for a position in the long term, right? To be able to dollar cost average some down and stuff. But right now, don't expect altcoins to be popping off anytime soon. You might get the random, one off or so, but the majority of them will be probably dropping with Bitcoin.
Yeah, I actually, I don't. Okay, I could if we go further. I don't think we're going south of 42 now in terms
Yeah,
of Bitcoin, right?
yeah,
I don't see us going south of 42. 42 is an absolute huge level of support.
yep.
We break down below 42, and I'm getting nervous. And then I've already told you then I've already told you what happens if we break south of 40. But
Panic
we're
sell,
not going to
panic
go
sell.
there.
Yeah.
I think that ultimately, just like everything else in these markets, the big dogs like to play games with the retail traders because they do understand that most retail traders are playing with money that they ultimately need long term or
Mhm.
that they plan on long term, which makes you trade more emotionally. And that's why we always recommend, if you can, be active with money that you ultimately can afford to lose. It
And it's
doesn't mean that
definitely
you're going to be happy about it.
And it's definitely a thing for Bitcoin now, right? Like earlier today in the morning, I shared some charts from Glassnode on the Academy group, basically showing that retail is getting out of Bitcoin or has been getting out of Bitcoin, losing interest in Bitcoin, and institutions have been the ones behind the pump ever since July and August, all the way up to the local high of 69 a few weeks ago. So it's institutions that are the ones that are running the game in Bitcoin, and this is exactly what we've always talked about. That institutions want to fund you out of Bitcoin,
Oh yeah,
make you sell them your Bitcoin for cheap, and they're going to be
yeah.
gobbling it up in the long term, and they're going to eventually sell it back to you for a lot of money. They're going to be selling you crumbs. So be very very careful
Well,
with that.
so I think that's a great transition. It's What If Wednesday. We're talking about what if Elon Musk is Satoshi Nakamoto. So let me start off right where we just ended, Miguel. Right, you're talking about these institutions want you selling, selling them back your Bitcoin so that they can eat it up at lower price points. One of the things, excuse me, that we've seen within the last year alone, we've seen Tesla adopt Bitcoin and officially accept it
Yep.
as payment for their Teslas. And then number two, we've had them say, you know what? No more. It's bad for the energy, or it's bad for the carbon footprint. This, that, and the third.
Yep.
So go ahead and start with that.
Well,
Why would Elon Musk play both sides of the fence?
well, I want to also point out that he has admitted that he owns Bitcoin himself. SpaceX, which is a private company, doesn't need to
Yep.
disclose, also does own Bitcoin. So that being said, why would he play both sides of the fence, right? Well, it's the perfect cover for him, right? He runs an energy company and
Okay.
it's all about being efficient with energy. Bitcoin is not the most efficient, right, when it comes to crypto, but yet it's the most secure and it brings the most value to the amount of electricity that it uses, right? So without getting deep into the weeds about the electricity consumption issue, we already know that was all big
Yeah.
FUD, right? So with that being put aside, it's the perfect cover for him that he runs an energy company and then he's shitting all over Bitcoin and saying that Doge is better and that Doge has all these things. It's the perfect cover for Satoshi. Nobody's gonna think that this man is Satoshi when he's the first one, talking crap about it.
Yeah, I think the whole idea is interesting. I do not personally believe that Elon is Satoshi. There's a number of reasons that behind that, but let's start off with the first one, right? Did we have somebody in the chat say something that
Yeah,
I saw you start to laugh?
Danny Vasquez goes, "Preach, Miguel. Nos cubanos sabemos."
um, and so I don't. Here's my thoughts. So Elon Musk, right? Centabillionaire, which for those of you that don't know, that means he's worth hundreds of billions of dollars, right?
AKA a wannabe trillionaire, but he's done.
Right. Not a trillionaire yet, but I won't be surprised if he gets there. I won't be surprised if he's the world's first trillionaire, but we shall see, depending on what Tesla is going to have a lot to say about that. SpaceX, whether we're mining gold on asteroids, who freaking, Neuralink, who knows, but he definitely has the opportunity to do that. I don't see why he would put himself in a position to risk his own safety. Miguel, we were talking about this before the show,
Yeah.
and it would be really dangerous. And I want you to expound on this a little bit, Miguel, but it would be really dangerous for Elon Musk to be Satoshi. And what I want to say is, though he wasn't worth hundreds of billions of dollars in 2009, right? He was worth billions of dollars already. And so why? Why would he? Is it because the only thing that I can come up with is because Elon Musk is so quirky,
Yeah.
and it would be almost, the answer would almost be because I
It
can,
is.
because he likes to thumb his nose at the man. But other than that, it would be out and out dangerous. Talk to me about why it would be dangerous, Miguel, for him to admit that he's Satoshi Nakamoto.
Anyone, whether it's him or not, admitting that he's Satoshi is instantly a target on their back, right? The government would love to know who Satoshi is. First off, he has 1 million Bitcoin. So I'm sure they would love to confiscate that some way, somehow. There have been, if you guys pay attention, there's been plenty of articles showing that the U.S. loves to confiscate Bitcoin and then sell it. So they're taking those profits that they didn't have to invest. So they love Bitcoin when it comes to that.
Right.
So yeah, anyone that goes around the system and breaks the status quo is a threat to the system. And if you've seen any Matrix movie, right, think of Satoshi, think of Bitcoin as the one, right? The one that can break the Matrix. And if you're that one, everyone in the Matrix, aka the agents, will come after you to make sure you're stopped.
Yeah, Quinn. So Elon loves to brag. There's no way he wouldn't brag about making Bitcoin. Drop a 1 in the chat if you think that Elon actually could be Satoshi Nakamoto. Drop a 2 if you think there's no way it's somebody else. I'm actually going to bring another person to the forefront here in a minute. So drop a 1 if you think it is. Drop a 2 if you don't think it is. But let me just say this, Quinn. The reason that I don't think that this would be correct is because of what we were just talking about. There is literally a safety measure that's in play here. Let me tell you a quick story. There was a man that made a car, a water-powered vehicle in the late 80s, I believe it was. It might have been into the 90s, but it was not that long ago, right? We're talking the last 30 years or so. And that man mysteriously died within a very short period of time after actually introducing that idea. And along with his death went all of his research. That's a real freaking head scratcher, right? Like, how could that happen? Why would that happen? Well, with Bitcoin, as the white paper is written, it is intended to be a peer-to-peer payment system, right? It is intended to take away the power from that centralized entity, from the government, right? So essentially, what you're saying, what whoever Satoshi Nakamoto is saying is, listen, we do not want our government to have the power. And if you're trying to strip the power away from the United States government, from the new world order that's on its way in, from really who's making those decisions, at the top, I think you're setting yourself up for mysterious death, right? So a mysterious death like
Epstein.
yeah, yeah. Epstein's a great example. Who else just died recently? McAfee.
Oh
McAfee.
yeah.
Ted McAfee.
Nobody wants to get Epstein, right? So
that's right.
It's very big possibility, and it's so easily swept under the rug. Everybody knows he got Epstein. What happened? Nothing. It was just swept under the rug. Hey, forget about it. And even though people know, they still can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So
and so I think that's one. I think that's definitely a reason. So let's look a little bit. We'll continue with this, but let's look a little bit at some other options. Here's one of them, right? So Jeffrey McAlpine said Nick Szabo. Okay, Szabo, however you say his name. That is one of the predominant answers for who is Satoshi Nakamoto. Yet again, he created Bitcoin. I can't even think of the name right now, but he created something bit something, which was a predecessor to Bitcoin. And Nick Szabo actually was the one that wrote the idea of smart contracts that allowed Ethereum to become what it is today, right?
Yeah.
He wrote the code for what a smart contract is. That would make a whole lot of sense, right?
But it
again,
doesn't,
what does
because
he say?
Bitcoin doesn't have smart contracts.
Well, that the newest upgrade is
Well, now,
allowing
but I'm just
Bitcoin
saying,
to have.
since the inception of Bitcoin wasn't meant for smart contracts.
But if we're talking about what ifs, what
Yeah.
if we wanted to
Well, why
gently
would you
roll
create a
ourselves
more
out?
complex idea and then go backwards from your idea to create something that is completely different?
Well, I think that you have two different use cases between Bitcoin and ETH, right? So if we look at it that way, if you truly
Then
thought that
why didn't he
Bitcoin,
just make both then? Why didn't he just drop ETH and Bitcoin at the same time?
well, I have no idea. I'm just saying. I'm just stating that they're doing two totally different things. So if you wanted to have both, if Bitcoin was the testing ground for a peer-to-peer payment system, and then ETH was, hey, this is Internet 3.0, right, and
Yeah.
wanted to lay both of those out, but Bitcoin was on the front end. Hey, there is an argument to be made there. I
I
guess is what I'm
understand, but
saying.
at the
So I
same
could get on
time,
board
if
with
you publicly come out with, "Hey, I created this technology, of I've created this concept, right, that is possible," then why would you go into hiding and then say, "Well, I'm not going to disclose who I am," right? You've already put the idea out. Here comes the Bitcoin lawyer, 100%, my man. You already know.
that. That's right.
You
That's
already
right.
know.
Miguel.
I'm
Miguel.
directly hired by Satoshi himself to always defend
That's
it no
right.
matter what.
He ferociously will defend Bitcoin at any chance.
Yeah.
So here's what I think though. I think that Hal Finney actually is
I don't
who
think it.
Satoshi Nakamoto,
Why?
right?
Why?
So
Because he got
well,
Epstein's.
the main well, I mean, he died supposedly of ALS, but he was one of the first cypherpunks, right? And he actually received the very first Bitcoin transaction ever, right? Now,
Yeah.
let's go one step further. He lived in the same town with the guy back in 2014 that's name was something something Nakamoto or something Satoshi. I can't think of his name either, but ultimately he grew up in the same town as this other guy, and he received the very first Bitcoin transaction, and he was a freaking mad computer scientist.
So,
And yeah,
all right.
and he
So let me tell
died
you
and
why
took
it's
that
not
with
him.
him.
Let me tell you
But
why.
hold on,
Go ahead.
hold on.
Go ahead.
And just to finalize that thought, and then these people that want to come out and say that they either know who Satoshi is, or like Craig Wright, who fervently says I am, as far as bringing it to a lawsuit. Well, if he knows that Hal Finney was Satoshi Nakamoto, and he knows that Hal Finney's late wife doesn't know anything about it, then he can argue that to the death, because guess what?
Yeah.
Nobody can prove or disprove it, especially if he knows where that original wallet is.
So let me tell you why it's not him.
Because all it takes is to make one transaction with that wallet to
Yes.
prove who you
That's
are.
fine. That's fine. But let me tell you why it's not Finney. It's not anyone that has already come up with an idea for the concept of crypto. Because if you already came up with the idea, you already publicly put yourself out there in the concept of danger, right? Of you're creating something that is dangerous to the status quo. So they've already taken that step out of the threshold. Now going into the anonymous session and saying, "Whoa, it's not me, it's somebody else," makes no sense. There's already a target on you by publicly bringing out your research on this topic. So it would make a lot more sense for somebody else, whether it's Elon or whatever, to take on the research that these people have made, make it come to fruition, and then say, "Hey, here's the first Bitcoin ever. Thanks for the help." Right, and then drop it. Maybe Finney knew who Satoshi was, right? Maybe he didn't know who he was, and it
Well, I
makes a
mean,
lot.
how else was he the first one to ever do a Bitcoin
I mean, they
transaction?
can
I don't
talk, right? And that we can talk over the internet, and I never have to reveal
Yeah,
who I am to you.
yeah, right,
So
yeah,
they could definitely have been in communication, 100%. I don't doubt that at all.
right,
But it doesn't mean
yeah,
that he knew exactly. But it makes him a target, right? Now you know that he's the first guy. So everybody's saying, "Wait a minute, you know who he is," or if you don't know, we're going to try to get it out of you one way or another to make
yeah,
sure you tell us everything you know about this person. So
yeah.
that's why he might have been Epstein's, right? Um, So, but I don't think for that reason, I don't think it's him. I don't think it's anybody that's come out publicly with any research that breaks the status quo and then go into hiding.
So then let me ask you this. Do you think that Satoshi Nakamoto is, let's say, whether you think it's a single person or whether you think it's a group of people, whether you think it's a government, I don't care who you think it is. Do you think Satoshi Nakamoto is alive?
That's a good question. If we're
Because
going with Elon, then yeah, obviously he's alive. He's walking around, right, saying, "Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm the next Iron Man. I got my, I know, privatized money, made the world better, created decentralized currency." So yeah, I would say that he is alive because if I'm gonna debate for the fact that Elon could be Satoshi, he's got the resources. He's got the resources, right? The company, the money. He's got the connections to make it happen. So whether it's him himself, or I'm not saying that he's there writing the code, he can literally make people make it for him and gag them to death with non-disclosures and all kinds of stuff, and no one can ever say anything, and he can make it happen.
I don't doubt that the only reason I see you, Dave. Dave says CIA. Hey, Dave. By the way, check your private Telegram messages, brother. I sent you a message earlier today. Just reminding you.
And that goes in before you jump in, right? Elon being Satoshi makes sense. He plays along with the status quo the way he has to thrive in this system, but at the same time, he likes to go outside of it. So he's playing both sides, right? He could be in cooperations with the CIA and make it right for the CIA. You don't know his I'm not saying we know his motivation behind
Intention.
making it.
Yeah.
But he could definitely be playing as like, hey, I'll make this for you, and I won't tell anybody it was me, and we'll get this going out there. So he could be
If
playing with a lot of dirty people.
so the a couple reasons and things that I'll say on the side of, I could see it. If you've ever listened to Elon Musk speak, he is very intelligent. He's so intelligent that it makes him awkward.
Yes.
You ever meet somebody that's like really intelligent, and when you speak to him, and I'll tell you who else is like that. Michael Saylor. When you hear him now, Michael Saylor's got a little bit more on the side of personality, but
Yeah.
the way that he speaks is all, and he's not like trying to speak above you. It's just his mind. Actually, it's like mind think, out comes the mouth, right? And you're like listening to what he says, and you're like, okay, and you really have to process it, not because I'm slow or you're slow or anything. It's because, like, the reality is they're so smart that it makes them awkward. So that being said, I could see Elon Musk being able to do it. The other reason that I could see Elon Musk playing that part well is because, what did he say about, Dogecoin originally? When they asked him why he thought it could be worth $1 or whatever, his response was, why not? And then they said, well, what about it becoming the new world currency? His response was, I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be really ironic.
Yeah.
And so he's so establishment yet anti-disestablishment that you're right. He could really play that
He can
well.
play both sides of that field very well
Yeah.
and be Satoshi while at the same time shitting on Bitcoin and promoting other random stuff and
Yeah.
talking about all the FUD of the energies, all right, because he's playing with that establishment, all his carbon credits. Well, just want to point out, Jeffrey McPine, thank you so much for the super chat. We greatly
Jeffrey
appreciate it.
McAlpine, thank you, brother. We appreciate
What
you.
if hump
Thank
day? What if hump day?
Yeah. Yeah, what if hump day? It is What If Wednesday, guys. If you are just jumping into the chat, smash a like. That's literally the one thing that you can do to tell YouTube that you love what we got going on here. We would really appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed, do your thing there. And just as a reminder, we're giving away 1 full year of Market Cipher for being subscribed to the channel here on YouTube and being a part of Debate Crypto Academy. So we would love to have you. All the information is down below. So let's take this one step further. So let's say I was able to get on board, though I don't believe it. Let's say I was able to get on board with the idea that Elon Musk is Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yep.
All right, he's worth hundreds of billions of dollars. What's the end game? like what is so on the front end, I could see it being a, hey, what if I could do this? But then it becomes what it is, and now it is literally this worldwide like treasure, right? That it's become, and it's this huge thing, right? On the front end, I could see him wanting to distance himself because originally it was used mainly on the dark web for drogas, right? That's really what it was. It was used for a lot of drugs and stuff. Now it's used by big businessmen, by people like ourselves, by just the average person, by people
Hey
in,
man, maybe
I mean,
maybe that's how he was financing Tesla, right? When during those dark days at the beginning when creating Tesla, he was not
drug money.
successful with Bitcoin from the dark net, right? Um, right? As Bitcoin continued to gain more and more value throughout the years, that's how he kept things afloat and financed his situation. Nobody was keeping track of Bitcoin back then. Nobody knew where that money was coming from.
Yeah, but a lot of that Bitcoin. Side note: One with Nature, Crypto Face is on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. But the funny thing, Miguel, is like there is a lot of Bitcoin that is annotated as, I forget what they call it, but it's basically that it's like dirty Bitcoin, and it like has, it is marked on the blockchain as being, unclean or whatever. I obviously, I can't get on board with that, because I think that that's too dangerous of an idea to say, hey, one of the largest, most profitable, huge, popular companies in the world, right? Not
Now,
most profitable.
but not back then.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
No,
I don't know,
not
dude.
back then,
I
right?
just,
Back then, he was scraping by, right? He literally almost went bankrupt multiple times, right? And he was literally didn't have the technology in place. Rockets kept blowing up, and that cost lots of money, right? To stay afloat, doing things that could never be done before.
so then what is it?
So what's his
What's
end
the
game? His end game is
end game?
his end game is what his end game's always been. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, right? I'm gonna do it just because I think I
So
can.
it's pride, ego, and
Yeah,
arrogance, because I can.
because I can, right? Why am I gonna put somebody on Mars? Because I can. Because no one else is doing it, and I want to do it, right?
Yeah.
Same reason why some people just keep working forever, no matter how much money he has. Why doesn't he just stop? Why doesn't
So
Bezos just stop?
here's what I think. I think this goes one of two ways. I think this goes way number one. We never find out who created Bitcoin.
I don't think
That's
we
the
will.
that's the
I don't think we will. I think
that
if we
yeah.
do,
So
go ahead, go ahead.
so I think that way number one is we don't ever find out, and I think that's intentional. I
Mhm.
think that is intentional from the start for us not to find out. Way number two, I think, is intentional as well. We do find out. It gets proven from moving the actual the original Genesis wallet, right? From using or spending or just making a single transaction on the Genesis wallet, right? But I think it would be done by a central, and like it would be done by like you would know that this is happening. It wouldn't just be like a slick little transaction that's going to go unnoticed. This is going to be like, hey, you know what? Here we are. We finally come to, you know what I mean? And then I think there would be a little bit more proof that would be needed, especially if it was a group of people. But here's what I'm saying. If we never find out, I think we will continue albeit it will change as time goes on. It will continue to rise and grow and grow and grow, and it will be what it has become, this, digital gold. But I do think, however, if someone comes out and is able to move, Bitcoin from that Genesis wallet, I think not because of the amount. They could dump all of it and it would dump the price. Yeah, a nice little chunk, but not nearly as much as some people would think. Um, uh, Man, I think that it would be really bad for Bitcoin, but not because of the price drop, but because part of Bitcoin's whole aura is
It's the
about
mystery.
being, yes, is that mystery. And it's obviously not a freaking rug pull. Usually we want to know who created things, but Bitcoin has created this shroud of mystery around it that says decentralization to the point of not knowing
Yes.
who created it. And so I think it would be a big problem if we did find
Oh
out.
yeah, I definitely think that people finding out who Satoshi Nakamoto is now is detrimental to Bitcoin. I 100% believe that it's never going to be 100% proven. It's always going to be speculation. And 100 years goes by when the last Bitcoin is finally mined, right? That none of us are even around anymore. Somebody might be like, oh yeah, it was this other guy, and then they'll still have all these years of speculation of who it was and whatever and all these things. That's just the way the myth will always live on. I don't think anyone's ever going to find out who Satoshi is, and that's why a lot of people do think that he's dead, right? But I think it's Elon, bro. I think Elon is just walking around saying, "That's right. I've established myself as the wealthiest man forever, and nobody even knows it."
So Bart said it's Dan Pena is what he meant to type there, but Dan Pena said Putin created Bitcoin. Listen, I will just say this. Dan Pena, if you've ever heard him speak, I don't know how else to say this, but he's an ass. Like, he just absolutely. Have you ever heard this guy speak,
I don't
Miguel?
know who that is.
Okay, yeah, I think you would probably know him. He's the old guy, white hair, glasses, and he says,
with the
"If
suit,
you knew,
with the suit, right?
if you knew who created Bitcoin, you would." Yeah, that guy, right?
Yeah.
And so I've heard him speak multiple times. He's like super, super crass, super rough. I don't know. He's one of those people that flaunts like who he is and his power. Like, how I think he's one of those people that just says, "Hey, I've got money, therefore I know things." So I would like to think that that's not the case. The other thing is, if Putin created Bitcoin, the end game there, I think, would be just as likely as someone from China or the Chinese government creating Bitcoin to basically infiltrate and get more control over the Western world. I think that that's just as likely there. I don't see the end game with it, other than because it is decentralized, because the United States, I don't believe the United States has to be intelligent enough to not grab hold of something unless they have the actual facts, which is why I believe we will never grab hold of Bitcoin unless we actually know in the background, hey, this is where this came from. We know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think the United States would have to put those things together or already have them together and say, hey, this, and this, 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. Therefore, we are going to be backing Bitcoin or using Bitcoin as our reserve currency. I don't think any other way it works.
Yeah, I agree.
This is probably the world's stupidest comment from quite possibly the stupidest creator on all of
Of all the
crypto.
interwebs.
So, yeah, probably the whole internet. So, Bart,
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing that with us. We already know about a rug pull coming from him,
Yeah.
so we'll just leave
He
that
is a
right
rug
there.
pull, guys. He is a rug pull. So
Hey, somebody rug pulled his beard as well. You guys should share that with him. Tell him I said that somebody's rug pulled his beard every time he's tried to grow that thing. So, but yeah. So at any event, sorry guys, I couldn't help myself. We got anything else in the chat, Miguel, before we call it this evening?
I'm trying to see if we have any other super chats. I don't think we do. It says Bitcoin.
Just as a reminder, guys, Crypto Face is on tomorrow evening. That's 9 p.m. We're going to be going over everything from, like information about Crypto Face himself to talking about Market Cipher. We're going to be talking about trading. We're going to be talking about, hey, if somebody knows the status of the market and the behind the scenes of what traders are doing and what's happening, it's Crypto Face, right? Super good dude. I've met him a number of times on around the blockchain. Awesome guy to talk to. So I'm super excited to have him on tomorrow. And just as a reminder, guys, we are giving away 1 full year of Market Cipher. What you need to do is be subscribed here, and then ultimately get yourself into the academy, debatecrypto.academy. We are doing weekly private seminars, right? And then we are also doing hangouts throughout the week. And then you have direct access to myself and Miguel. We've got 10 years of experience in the crypto space, and we would love to have you guys. We are teaching trading. We have a Crypto 101 course that we are putting a linear course together. I think there's 6 different videos in that right now that's continuing to grow. Guys, we're trying to hopefully breed a better crypto investor. That's what we're trying to do.
100%. So yeah, no TA Thursday tomorrow with CBO. That's why we are going to have Crypto Face on.
It's going to be TA Thursday with Crypto Face.
With Crypto Face,
right?
exactly.
I mean, yeah. No doubt. So, Crypto Fam, we appreciate each and every one of you being here. If nobody's told you before today, we love you. We hope you guys have a blessed evening. Thank you guys for being here. Until next time.